they're saying, like in the Daily Telegraph, hunger's alright. We could all benefit from a little bit of hunger in the Daily Express. Don't throw it away. Don't throw it away, mouldy food. No. You can still eat that. Eat the bacteria. And look, what can be more romantic than a blackout? They're taking the fucking piss. Look, Telegraph. Look, it's time to rethink how much water we drink. Water's not that good for you.
Yeah, okay. State of the nation. Well, I mean, it's just shit. No, everything is shit. Look, I'm a proud Brit, but, let's face facts. Sorry, no, there's no other word for it. It's just
video causing a buzz online. It is a cub who ended up with more than the bare necessities. So if he looks a little weird or potentially high, that's because he is. Authorities say in Turkey believe the bear, I know, he ate a hallucinogenic called mad honey. It's from a plant. Then he was found slumped over in the forest. The bear was taken to a local vet to sober up and then released back into the woods just a few days later.
Incoming transmission.
Now is the time to strike! Glory to the motherland!
Sons of bitches, up yours. We'll see who cancels who.
Nonsense! I could destroy this American Navy with a little rubber dog.
Mathematicians only are dealing with the structure of the reasoning, and they do not really care about what they're talking. They don't even need to know what they're talking about, or as they themselves say, or whether what they say is true. Now, I explain that. If you state the axioms, you say such and such is so, and such and such is so, and such is so, what then? Then the logic can be carried out without knowing what the such and such words mean. In other words, mathematicians prepare abstract reasoning that's ready to be used if you will only have a set of axioms about the real world. But the physicist has meaning to all the phrases. And there's a very important thing that a lot of people who study physics that come from mathematics don't appreciate. The physics is not mathematics, and mathematics is not physics. One helps the other. But you have to have some understanding of the connection of the words with the real world. And this is a problem which is not a problem of mathematics at all. Mathematicians also like to make their reasoning as general as possible. If you say, I have a three-dimensional space, ordinary space, I want to talk about ordinary space. You're in it, and you measure distances, and there are three numbers you need to tell where something is. You go breadth, width, and height. Three-dimensional space, and you begin to ask them about theorems. Then they say, now look, if you had a space of n dimensions, then here are the theorems. Well, I say, yeah, but I only want the case 3. Well, substitute n equals 3. And then it turns out that very many of the complicated theorems they have are much simpler because it happens to be a special case. Now, the physicist is always interested in a special case. He's never interested in the general case. He's talking about something. When you know what it is you're talking about, that these things are forces, and these are masses, and this is inertia, and this is so on, then you can use an awful lot of common sense, seat-of-the-pants feeling about the world. You've seen various things. You know more or less how the phenomenon is going to behave. Well, the poor mathematician, he translates it into equations, and the symbols don't mean anything to him, and he has no guide but precise mathematical rigor and care in the argument. The mathematical rigor of great precision is not very useful in the physics, nor is the modern attitude in mathematics to look at axioms. Now, mathematicians can do what they want to do. One should not criticize them because they are not slaves to physics. It is not necessary that just because this will be useful to you, they have to do it that way. They can do what they will. It's their own job. And if you want something else, then you work it out yourself.
You ought to look out. Video capturing the whales heading right up to swimmers next to the rocks. The group of orcas is part of the T090 pod, a family of well-known killer whales. They're said to have been spending a fair bit of time hunting harbor seals in the Salish Sea recently, as well as the occasional trip to Alaska. These orcas have shown a curiosity for swimmers, but people are reminded to keep their distance if they do see whales.
Heading out for a bit of fresh air is usually a pretty routine thing for Wendy Sivret and her cat Epsy.
Well, she used to come out. She's always been likes to lay around on the deck and stuff. And then one day she got out when I rebuilt the fence. She got out through a gap in the fence, and she disappeared.
That was back in September 2020. Wendy's searching around her neighborhood and online turned up nothing.
We all figured, she's gone.
But then, last Friday, a promising post. Someone had found a cat that looked like Epsy.
And I saw that and I thought, there's no way. She's been gone 2 years. There's no way this is my cat, right?
The microchip reading brings great news. It is Wendy's long-lost feline friend.
She's lost the tips of her ears from frostbite. And then they did all the blood work and they said that she's in amazing shape for being outside for 2 years.
A memorable moment for the online organization that helped get them back together.
Usually they're reunited in a day, a month, or 2 or 3 months. 715 days is incredible. Plus, this cat apparently was a special needs cat.
The vet figures that she's got a vision issue with depth perception. She can't even jump onto a table.
Strong enough to survive all that time outside, found pretty close to home.
She was like 7 blocks away. She just couldn't find her way back here. Some angels have been feeding her and they've been giving her some kind of shelter. Her feet and everything seem to be good and she's happy. Yeah. I wonder how many lives she's used up in the last 2 years.
And so she doesn't use up any more lives.
I'm fixing that gate.
I knew there were bears around there. I just didn't think they were in my freaking backyard. I looked a little bit closer and it was a bear. And he was clutching the chlorine duck that, you put chlorine tabs in. And he was swimming in the shallow end, then he swam to the deep end, and I was so shocked.
He called the non-emergency line just because he didn't know what to do.
And I said, hey, there's a bear in my pool. And they asked me if I had been drinking. I said, no, it wasn't. Oh, man. It was crazy, and it was so out of context. We've had, raccoons in our pool. Ducks, obviously, every spring we have a mama duck and baby ducks, and then dead spiders and scorpions and horrific stuff like that. But never in a million years did I think there'd actually be a bear swimming in my pool.
This homeowner says, in this heat, you do what you can.
I feel bad because it's so dry out, and I don't know where these guys are getting water out in the hills. So he's welcome in my yard as long as he doesn't kill me or my family, because I don't want it to be like bad Grizzly Man episode where. I'm talking to the bear, and the next thing you know, I'm in pieces.
We'll do our best to get the message to him on TV.
There are 2 on Cahuenga Boulevard West by the Barham exit near the 101 freeway. A third facing the freeway itself, all with the same ominous message. The Texas Miracle died in Uvalde. Don't move to Texas. Complete with a sunglass-wearing man in a hoodie, a classroom reflected in the lenses, puzzling to those who see them.
I think it just showed up. I don't know what it is.
This has been brought to you by a Very Cute Terrier production 2022. Hello Wolfie, how you doing? Yes, it's Wolfie Cam.